Welcome to Rhema-Apologetics. In this video, you're about to listen to a conversation between a Christian and a Muslim. Two perspectives, one honest discussion. No interruptions. No pressure. Just listen carefully. Think deeply. Decide for yourself. And after watching, share your reflections in the comments. What do you think? Let's begin.
They go unpunished.
Oh my God. I guess at this point I just have I don't know is right. I don't know the logic behind of what is the cause of Muslims. I don't even know if all Muslims who die during Ramadan. I've just heard, which is not a good thing to talk behalf of, that could end up going to heaven. That's all I heard. I didn't even read that from scripture, and I don't claim things upon that I don't get from my scripture. Okay, but more importantly, the question I have for you
No. You're not about to move past that just now. What you just said was extremely important, because now it sounds like you kind of backtracked away from that to now it's a you don't know. Which,
yes,
which, by the way, Paradox, it's okay. Like, there's no problem with that as long as we can admit that, right? However, let's still deal with the implications of that, because that's what you was appealing to say, see, we don't need a savior. My question is that just? Is Allah just if he allows certain people to make it into heaven without punishing their sins just because they died during Ramadan?
Again, okay, he doesn't have a reason to punish those that don't. He's not going to punish those that doesn't have a reason to be punished.
Is sinning a reason to be punished? If you sin against Allah, do you have a reason to be punished?
Not all sins.
And there
if I ask for forgiveness,
do you see?
I'm not being not all sins. If I ask for forgiveness, I won't be punished for it.
Exactly. And there it is. If you ask for forgiveness, you don't need to be punished, because what is Allah gonna do? Just one second. One second. Hold on, I'm gonna get my prop. Hold on, just 1 second, okay? Just mute up real quick. I promise you.
Okay.
This is what Allah's gonna do, ladies and gentlemen.
Bro. Yo. What's going on? Yo, come back.
This right here. This is what Allah's gonna do, ladies and gents. All you do is ask for forgiveness. 1 second. All you gotta do
clean that room, boy.
is ask. That's what Allah's doing.
Yeah, this guy, man.
Just ask for forgiveness.
Stuck for the lie, yo.
Just go ahead. It's all right. Allah got you. Just go ahead. Ask for forgiveness. Just say you're sorry.
You're a clown. You're a clown. You are a clown.
Just say you're sorry, Paradox. You're good.
Yeah, you are a clown, bro.
Don't worry.
Anyways, if you can actually come back and actually not...
Don't worry about it. All you got to do is say, sorry, Allah. Don't worry about it.
Bro, you're being, again, come back. Again, not all sins are permissible to be asked for forgiveness, right? Are you listening?
Don't worry about it, sweetheart. Allah's got you.
This guy. Not all sins are forgivable, right? Again, so logic. There are categories, right? There's a threshold of your sins. We don't believe like you guys. Again, any sin can be saved from the Lord and Savior. There are unforgivable sins. Shirking is unforgivable. Disrespectful to your parents is not forgivable, right? Certain aspects can't be forgiven, and so I just think that you don't. Again, you're just kind of conflating the two ideas to, like, So
this is what we're talking about, Paradox. Look, I'm not talking about all those other examples of things that are not forgivable. I'm talking about the specific times that you admit that all you got to do is ask Allah for forgiveness, and He'll forgive you.
God. So
No strings attached. Wait,
listen.
wait.
If you can answer,
let me finish this.
If you can answer this
Let me
question, I'll
finish this,
admit. Right?
please. Let me finish this.
Go ahead,
This
and
is
I'll ask you a question.
Okay, this is why this matters, man. Remember in the beginning of this. In the beginning, we said, if a judge were to just let you go because you said sorry after you broke the law, and he just lets you go unpunished, is he just? And you said no, he's not just. So similarly, even more so, if the judge of the heavens and the earth just lets you say sorry and just sweeps your sin under the rug, he's an unjust judge. Maybe he's merciful, sure. I can grant that there's some mercy there, but he's not just. And that's where Allah is insufficient.
So let's talk about it. Yes, I do understand in Islam there are 99 attributes that God has. Being just is one of them. But let's talk about the just
That ain't
attribute.
just.
I'm not running away. But listen, hold up. So you're giving an example of a judge who is making a decision, right? You're not the judge. It's Allah. And if you can provide me a reason, I'm going to ask you a question. And if you can answer it, then I'll accept it. I have a question, right? Let's say again, not all things are in legality. First of all, I don't think legality is morality. There are things that are right and wrong without judges, right? For instance, a school, your work environment, your parents, right? Your family, your love life. There's right. So now, if in these settings, for instance, a child who, right? Listen. Let me give you an example. One, you can ask for forgiveness; he'll be forgiven. And if you don't think that's just, please tell me why so. Let's say I know, and I'm very well aware that I cannot eat pork. I know this for a fact that I am not supposed to be eating pork. It's not under the it's not condoned. And I go to an event, and guess what? They're giving food, and we're giving food to people who have graduated, and I'm eating food, and people made it. I'm acknowledging it. I'm being respectful. I eat the food, and then later I learned that a friend says, "Yo, Paradox, did you eat this?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Oh, it had pork inside." I'd be like, "Oh, well, I didn't know that." Right? Yes, I have quote unquote done something wrong without knowing. So if then I decide to pray to God and ask for forgiveness, Ya Allah, I did not know that I have eaten pork. Please forgive me. Now, please tell me, why would he not be just for forgiving someone who did not know about it? Please explain.
Would Allah punish you for eating that pork when you did it unknowingly? Would he punish you for that?
No, if I only God, and by the way, and I mean, I'll tell you another extent, right?
Well, I just
not all
answer that
hold up,
question.
not all forgiveness are guaranteed to be forgiven.
No worry,
right?
that's a different topic. Answer this.
Right. So
if you eat the pork, if you eat pork without knowing it,
unknowingly, yes.
And let's say it was never brought to your attention, would Allah punish you for that?
Interesting. Good question. I mean, that's a lot to know, but I won't have a reason to believe that he would, because we believe he's all just.
Good.
He knows better.
So that would mean that if you did it unknowingly, then it's not a sin. Then sin has intent behind it.
Interesting. No, that's just about an interesting way to put it. So then I just say the statement that I can just say no to you when you first asked me, can God forgive the sins that you have committed? Then I just say no, because then those are not sins, I guess, under your definition. So you're saying eating pork is not a sin, knowingly or unknowingly?
Can you break that down, please?
Yeah. If you're saying that what I had originally considered a sin for God to forgive without me being punished, right? Then I just say no. I cannot be forgiven for my sins without being punished. If you're not classifying me eating pork as a sin unknowingly, yes, then yes. Does that make sense? Because so no. The answer to your question, will God forgive my sins without punishment? No, he would not.
Okay. So, but there are some people, you said earlier, that he would forgive
again,
without
because
punishment.
you seem like you don't even consider those sins. The reason why I was saying these things is that
I know it's what you don't know. You're not held accountable for something.
Yeah,
you don't
if
know.
you're ignorance, exactly.
Right.
Something that's lack of understanding.
Yeah, so you didn't sin if you have lack of understanding, or you're just ignorant of something. We're talking about people who have clearly and are guilty. Like, you're not guilty for eating pork unknowingly. You're not guilty. We're talking about people who are guilty. The sins that you're guilty for. That's what we're talking about. And you're saying you can just ask God for forgiveness, Allah for forgiveness.
Nope. That's not what I was saying then. That's what I'm saying. So no, that's not what I was saying then. If you don't think that there people should be deemed guilty.
Okay.
We still, and in Islam, by the way, that's why we don't, again, it's a very beautiful thing. We ask for forgiveness every single day is because we understand that we're sinful beings. We do bad things without knowing.
I don't care how many times a
Anyways,
day you
yeah.
ask for forgiveness.
Mhm.
What does Allah do about your sin that you're asking forgiveness for? What does he do about it?
That's for him to know. That's for him to know.
No. This is for you to know as well, because you're a Muslim.
What?
You're following this God, right?
For sure.
So you need to know what happens. You need to know how am I
Simple.
how
Okay,
am
great.
I
So
redeemed from my
great.
sins?
So there's two scenarios. Great.
Look, hold on. Let me land. I have my answer. Jesus paid it for me. What's your answer?
Okay. Before I give you an internal critique of your view, boy, am I waiting. But to answer your question, I have two scenarios, right? What does he do? If I ask for forgiveness and he forgives, then great, out of my ignorance. And if he doesn't forgive me, I shall pay it at day of judgment. Very simple. We will go to hell. We'll go to Jahannam and do what we did, reap our sins, and then reach paradise.
You said that there are some for who Allah forgives without punishing them. You said that earlier. Is that no longer the case?
So why do you believe exactly? Punishment is not the only way to justify something.
So, okay. How is sin paid for in Islam for those who he does not punish for their sin? How is it reconciled?
Giving them hardship on this earth.
Giving them hardship on this earth, guys. Hardship on this earth is the reconciliation of your.
Yep, and also Hajj is also another thing.
So let me ask you.
If you do Hajj, you know about Hajj, right?
Wait, stop there. Do you think that a baby and being sick with cancer and disease and stuff like that's hardship in this life?
Of course.
Is that them reconciling their sins?
Of course.
So babies have sins that they need to have reconciled?
It depends on the age of the child.
Babies.
No, babies don't. Again, we don't. Yeah, babies don't have sin. Babies go to heaven. Yes.
So when babies are having hardship in this life, is it because they have sins that are being reconciled?
Well, you believe that. Wait, don't you believe all humans are born with sins?
No, I believe we're born into sin. But this is my paradigm.
Yeah, into sin.
We're talking about yours right now. You need to
we
justify
all believe that. We all believe that humans are sinful by nature.
So is a baby guilty of sin?
By definition, yes.
A baby's guilty of sin in Islam?
Is he? If he's a human baby, then yes.
If he's a human baby, what else? An angel baby? A jinn baby?
Right. So as a human baby, then yes, right? There are other animals. So he is born in sinful nature, he or she.
I'm getting other Muslims that are saying no way. But I mean, this is your view. So baby,
I would like them to tell me then why it's justified if they think that.
Exactly. Yeah, Muslims, come on up and help them out.
But more importantly, right? So there are ways of concept, like being able to utilize these things. Of course,
I don't think so. Would you say that it's injustice for Allah to send a baby to hell?
Would it be unjust to send a baby to hell? Of course.
But you said that they're sinful. It wouldn't be unjust to send them to hell if they have sin.
Yeah, but they never had time to redeem themselves. There's an age of time where God kills.
So what? If they are born guilty, then it's not unjust to send them to hell.
No. So there's a difference, right? There's a difference committing a sin, and there's a difference being sinful nature, having a sinful nature, right?
So
there's a difference in acting upon.
This is where
there's a difference in acting upon.
I know. So this is why. See, now you're kind of changing what you were saying when I asked you about the baby in the first place. When a baby is going through hardships, right? Sickness and disease and health problems or whatever in this life, hardships in this life, is it because the babies, have sin that is now being reconciled with Allah due to their hardships?
Okay, so I see what you're doing now. Hardship is not only dependent on reconciling, like something that to be able to reconcile with. There are other reasons that hardship does not always equate to being reconciled, right? There can be other reasons too. Of course, that's why murderers are also paid, right? They're gonna be punished for causing unnecessary pain. So yeah.
So then
again,
how is
that's
it?
just a byproduct.
So then how can you even say that if a person who dies in Ramadan had hardships in their life, that's what reconciled the sin in their life? How can you say that? Where does even the Quran say that hardships reconcile sin in your life?
That's exactly what I was gonna say now. All right. You're making me speak rather asking me or telling me to explain a contradiction or something doesn't make sense. You're asking me to speak behalf of God. And I'm just gonna tell you, right? There's a threshold and criteria of thing, right? It depends on what sins they've committed. Did they lie to their butler? Or did they hurt someone? Did they blew up a, God forbid, a masjid? Breaking someone's heart in Islam is equivalent to breaking a masjid, right? So I don't know what sins they've committed for me to say that. It depends on the person. It depends on God's understanding of that person. I'm no one to answer for that to you, my brother.
So this is what I'm saying, Paradox. This is my entire point with this. My entire point, bro, is that we have an explanation and a reason for our salvation and how God's justice and mercy and love is demonstrated.
May I ask my question then?
Hold on, dude, relax. You as a Muslim, you don't, and every which way, which
you don't accept it.
No, it's not that brother. There's nothing for me to accept. There's no.
I just told you
every time. No, you
just didn't like it.
Every time you try to give an answer, and I gave you
started sweeping your room.
I gave you. I gave you the implications. I gave you the implications of what you were saying. You then retracted every single time. You've retracted every time that we came to the conclusion
that's true.
Of what you
because again, there's too much. I'm a more again. Yes, I will say that you're right. Okay, for the sake of the argument, if you want to say, I had to go back to explain things to you. Read the Quran, by the way. In translation,
but you haven't explained anything. Look. At this point where we are in this conversation, we're at point zero. There is no explanation for how sin is dealt with for you as a Muslim.
Day of judgment. Day of judgment.
All right. So what determines for a person who dies in Ramadan, what happens with them on the day of judgment, whether they go to hell or heaven?
God will know.
So no answer.
Not me. God knows. I don't. No one knows.
So no answer then.
God, the answer is God.
So no answer.
What are you asking me? The day of judgment, what happens to someone who fasted? Okay, I can tell you. It depends on their intentions, right? So I don't know. I'm not God. It depends on their intentions of fasting. It depends on what they've done. God knows all of this information, so he'll know if he because he's all just, he will know if they should go to paradise or hell.
Okay,
that's it.
Let's see. We have to continue to explore that. God decides whether what they've done in their life is worthy of them going to hell or them going to heaven. Got it.
Correct.
So he'll make the ultimate decision. When he's making the decision on a person who's going to heaven, what is that based on? Because this same person has good. Okay, his deeds, his works. He's done good. He's done things that makes him deserving of heaven. But the same person who he's deeming is worthy of heaven has sinned in his life. So when he's getting into heaven, what is happening with the sin? How does his sin get dealt with?
It's like a weight, like when you scale something, you put weight on one side, and if you put weight on another, and it outbalances, it out-tips it.
So paradox. This is why you're still here, because you're able to.
I'm being honest. Yeah,
yes,
I'm being consistent.
This is why you're still here. So look, so there's a weight now. There's a scale. So let me ask you this, okay? Let's say I'm 30 years old, okay? And let's say for 28 years of my life, let's say 29 years of my life, right?
You were 24.
Thank you. But for 29 years of my life, I've continuously given to charity. I've visited people in the sick bed. I've visited people in prison. I've fought for the people who don't really have a voice in the political world.
Okay.
Right? I've done all these good, right? Never committed a crime, never stolen, never killed nobody, never done any of these things, right? Mm-hmm. But in my 30th year, on my 30th birthday, okay, I robbed a bank.
Okay.
Now, I get caught. I'm in the courtroom.
They're coming for you.
They're coming for me. Exactly.
Yeah.
They're coming for me.
Anyways, okay,
Right?
to go on, I'll mute myself. I'm listening.
So wait, don't mute yourself. It's okay. So I'm in the courtroom. I'm caught. I'm guilty. And I say to the judge, Judge, yes, you got me. I robbed the bank. That's me on that video camera. However, Judge, this is the only crime I've ever broken. Look at the first 29 years of my life. I've tended to the sick. I've visited the poor. I've given to charity. I've done all these things that, on a scale that way outweighs this one bad thing I did. Would the judge let me go?
You do understand that even first of all, I don't think it's equivalent to use morals with legality, and even to entertain what you're saying. You do understand, even in the legal world, that they do actually take and consider if it's your first or second time that
if I robbed a bank, if I robbed a bank, will the judge let me go? As that's my first crime
Okay,
ever
if it's
committed?
a yes or no question, of course, no. That'd be absurd.
All right.
Okay?
Now, what if he did?
But however,
if he did, would
huh?
he be? If he did, would he be just?
If he did, then I would again. I was gonna get to there now, right? Now there are many factors that we need to consider of how much consequences or harm that you committed to rob a bank. Were there any casualties?
It doesn't matter.
Did you honor life? It does, depending on. Were you forced?
No,
were you?
I went in. It's armed robbery, man. I went in there.
See, that's what I'm saying. Exactly. What was your intention? Were you
to
forced?
steal money? My intention was to get the bag, baby. I was getting the bag, baby.
You will be responsible for that. You will be held responsible for that.
But it's my only crime I've ever committed. The good things I've done outweigh this one bad, right?
Yeah. Again,
so would it be? Here's the question:
false equivalence. This is a false equivalence.
No, it's a perfect equivalence. Would the judge be just if he let me go on the basis that I've done more good than this one time I've committed a crime?
I refuse to. I'm not a judge.
No, don't you do that. Don't you do that. Don't you do that.
No, it won't be okay for the judge in legality to let you go. Yes, I would disagree with the judge.
So he would be unjust, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now let's put this in perspective here. All right. This earthly judge would be unjust if he were to let me go on the basis that I've done more good in my life than bad. He would be unjust for letting me go.
No, I don't believe that. I agree. Yeah, I agree with you. That would not be just, which is why I said even Muslims will go to hell.
Okay, but
temporarily.
But wait, no, we're not talking about the Muslims that go to hell. We're talking about the ones that go to heaven, right? And who still have sins, but God, Allah lets them in heaven anyway because of the scale. Now, if the judge is unjust, now let me ask you this, and I think we both know the answer to this. Allah is supposed to be infinitely more just than a human judge, right?
Of course.
Of course. So if a judge on earth can't even let you go to for the sake of justice because of the good things you've done in your life, even though you're guilty of this crime, how much more is the just judge, right, going to exact justice, not based on because you've done good, but if you've
does
done,
the judge loves him much as God? Does the judge also loves him much as God?
And man, you are on a roll here. Does the judge love him as much as God? No. Which is why, guess what? Which is why you need a situation.
This guy connecting the fucking, excuse my language, connecting the dots, right?
This is why you need a situation paradox for where God is enacting his justice. He doesn't sacrifice his justice, but also his love is demonstrated as well. So you need you need a sufficient situation where God is both just and loving at the same time.
Allow me to ask a question. Allow me to ask a question now, okay?
But do you see the point?
I see where you're going with it, and I want better. I'm asking for clarification questions, clarifying question, okay? Now I see what you're saying. This was your perfect time to assert that. Okay, so now my question to you, I am trying to remember is now, the love part is great, But please help me understand, how is it just for a being who had been unalived for the love of for the sins of humans, that you weren't uh, there at that time, who is born after Jesus was crucified, for allowing you guys to be redemption for that? How is that? Why is that just?
Okay. So one, it's just because you have God, right? Controller of everything, who is able to make the willing decision and has the ability, right? His life is infinitely worth more than anything, which is why his life is able to appease the wage that is owed when he gives his life instead of us giving our lives. His life satisfies it all. So he has the ability, the power to take on the sins of everyone, past, present, and future. And he has the willingness to come in and pay the fine for my crime. Similar to even in the courtroom, same example. There's a bail amount sometimes for a crime, right? There's a bail amount. Now, if I don't have the money to pay the bail amount, someone can willfully come in and slide that money to the courtroom and say, I got him. Don't worry about it. And I go.
Alternative, yeah.
Yep. So what God does, one, he has the ability and the power to take on the sins of mankind, past, present, and future. And he has the willingness to do it out of love. And so he comes into the courtroom and he pays my fine.
You just listened to a conversation between a Christian and a Muslim. Two perspectives. One honest discussion. Now the question is yours. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's keep the conversation going. Until next time. Seek truth. Think deeply. Decide wisely. Thank you for watching Rhema-Apologetics.